The 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel may appear to be just another 5-cent piece, but in the world of numismatics, this seemingly ordinary coin holds a hidden allure for collectors and investors alike. Though millions were minted, certain rare examples of the 1964 Jefferson nickel, especially those in pristine condition without a mint mark, have skyrocketed in value, with some selling for up to $4,400 in auctions. What makes this coin so special? Let's dive into the fascinating history, striking design, and unique circumstances that have made this nickel one of the standout treasures in U.S. coinage history. First introduced in 1938, the Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel and quickly became a staple of American currency. Designed by Felix Schlag, the obverse front features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The reverse of the coin shows Jefferson's famous estate Monticello with the inscription E pluribus unum above, and Monticello 5 cents, and United States of America below. This classic design remained virtually unchanged for decades, becoming one of the most recognized images in American pocket change. The 1964 issue, however, stands out for a number of reasons. First, this year marked the end of the traditional mintage before the U.S. Mint temporarily removed mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967 to discourage coin hoarding during a national coin shortage. As such, the 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel was the last of its kind before that significant shift. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time, this version of the coin was part of an enormous mintage. Over 1 billion nickels were struck in 1964 alone. Despite these massive numbers, not all coins were created equal. While most circulated examples of the 1964 Jefferson nickel are worth face value or slightly more, a select few command eye-watering prices. So, how can a coin with such a high mint that'll be worth up to $4,400? The answer lies in coin grading, condition, strike quality, and errors. Coins that are certified by grading companies like PCGs or NGC with top-tier designations such as MS67 or higher, especially with full steps on Monticello, are considered extremely rare. The full steps grading refers to the clarity and the sharpness of the steps on the Monticello building on the reverse. Due to worn dies or poor strikes, most coins from that year lack fully defined steps, making those with complete, crisp steps highly desirable. Another factor that boosts the value of certain 1964 Jefferson nickels is die varieties and mint errors. Known errors include double die obverse DDO, repunched mint marks RPM on Denver issues, and off-center strikes. Though these error varieties are more often seen in Denver minted coins, Philadelphia issues with such traits are exceptionally scarce. When these errors are combined with high-quality strikes and superb condition, the value of the coin can shoot up into the thousands. For example, an MS67 specimen with strong eye appeal and sharp full steps can bring in $3,000 to $4,400 or more in private sales or auctions. The 1964 Jefferson nickel also carries historical importance. It represents a transitional period in American coinage during the early 1960s. Due to rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint was preparing to remove silver from its dimes, quarters, and half dollars by 1965. Though the nickel does not contain silver, it's made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The same economic pressures led to changes in mintage practices, including the temporary elimination of mint marks in subsequent years. This places the 1964 no-mint mark nickel at the crossroads of two important eras: the end of traditional minting practices and the beginning of modern cost-saving reforms. Collectors are also drawn to the coin because it offers an excellent blend of accessibility and challenge. While average condition 1964 nickels are easy to find, locating one in near-perfect condition with full steps and no signs of wear or scratches is a true feat. This creates an exciting dynamic in the collecting world. Beginners can start with lower-grade coins for a modest investment, while seasoned collectors can hunt for those elusive top-tier specimens that can fetch thousands of dollars. Adding to its value is the growing interest in Jefferson nickels as a collectible series. For many years, these coins were overlooked in favor of older and more exotic coins, but that has changed dramatically in recent decades, with an increasing number of collectors assembling complete sets with high-grade coins. The demand for quality 1964 nickels has soared. As more coins are graded and removed from circulation, supply naturally decreases, driving up prices even further, especially for coins already recognized as rare by grading services. In today's numismatic market, demand for the 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel remains strong. Auction results continue to surprise even seasoned collectors, with multiple sales over the $3,000 mark for top-graded specimens. The market value is highly dependent on three primary elements: grade, rarity, and collector demand. A circulated coin may only be worth 10 to 50 cents, but a gem uncirculated coin graded MS67 or above with full steps can easily bring in $4,400 or more, depending on market trends and competition among bidders. To determine whether you might Beholding one of these valuable coins, you'll want to closely inspect the reverse side under magnification. Count the steps of Monticello. Ideally, you want 5 or 6 sharp and uninterrupted steps. Look for luster, strike quality, and any unique features such as doubling or misalignment. If you suspect you have a high quality or error coin, consider submitting it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC, as certified coins tend to command much higher prices than raw ones. In conclusion, the 1964 no-mint Mark Jefferson nickel may be hiding in your pocket change, but for those lucky enough to find a rare gem with superior strike and flawless preservation, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Its value lies not only in its metal content or mintage figures, but in the condition, detail, and demand it commands among serious collectors. It's a symbol of a transitional time in American coinage history, making it both a valuable investment and a fascinating piece of Americana. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast, keep your eyes open. This 5-cent coin might just change your fortunes. Next up, the 1967 no-mint Mark Jefferson nickel might seem like an ordinary coin lost in the pockets of history. But for keen-eyed collectors and coin enthusiasts, this 5-cent piece could represent an incredible discovery worth up to $4,900. Struck during a unique period in U.S. coinage, the 1967 Jefferson nickel has become a fascinating collectible steeped in numismatic value, historical relevance, and rarity in high grades. This coin stands as a testimony to an era of experimentation, minting reforms, and the economic pressures that shaped America's monetary system in the 1960s. To truly understand why the 1967 Jefferson nickel can command such a high price, one must look beyond its modest appearance and delve into the story it tells about American coinage. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel and featuring the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by German-American sculptor Felix Schlug. The obverse showcases Jefferson facing left, while the reverse features his famous Monticello estate. Schlug's clean neoclassical design gave the nickel a timeless elegance. And while the design remained consistent for many decades, the historical context of certain years such as 1967 adds tremendous value. By 1965, the United States Mint faced widespread hoarding of coins due to a silver shortage. In response, the U.S. Treasury removed silver from dimes and quarters and implemented the Coinage Act of 1965, which also led to the temporary suspension of mint marks from 1965 to 1967 in an effort to discourage collectors from hoarding coins based on mint location. That's why the 1967 Jefferson nickel does not feature a mint mark, regardless of whether it was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This no mint mark policy makes the 1967 nickel a product of a very short-lived and highly significant chapter in U.S. minting history. While hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels were struck in 1967, very few of them survived in pristine condition, especially those with extremely sharp strikes and minimal handling, where most were used in daily commerce, tossed into change jars, or lost to circulation. However, the few surviving examples that have been preserved in gem mint state condition, particularly those graded MS67 or higher with full steps, have proven to be extremely rare. These high-end examples, especially certified by major grading companies such as NGC or PCGS, are the very coins that can reach market values of $3,000 to $4,900 or even more in competitive auctions or private sales. The term full steps plays a vital role in determining the true rarity and value of a 1967 Jefferson nickel. This refers to the visibility and completeness of the horizontal steps on Monticello depicted on the reverse of the coin. A coin designated as having full steps must exhibit at least 5 sharply defined, uninterrupted steps, though some examples may show all 6, because many of the 1967 nickels were weakly struck or worn quickly due to widespread use. Those with full and clear steps are exceptionally scarce. Combine that with a high grade such as MS67 or even MS67+, and you have a coin that becomes an elite trophy piece for collectors of Jefferson nickels or rare U.S. coinage in general. One of the contributing factors to this coin's value is the unique special mint set SMS coins that were issued during 1967. From 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint did not produce traditional proof sets, instead offering SMS sets with specially prepared coins. These sets were not struck to proof standards but did feature better than average strikes with satin-like finishes. Some of the highest graded and most valuable 1967 Jefferson nickels were sourced from these SMS sets. However, even among SMS coins, finding one with pristine surfaces, full luster, and sharp full steps is extremely rare, which only adds to the coin's mystique and potential worth. Furthermore, errors and varieties contribute to the high end. The value of the 1967 no-mint Mark Jefferson nickel, though relatively rare, die cracks, off-center strikes, and double die errors have been reported. These mint errors can increase the desirability and value of a coin significantly, especially if the error occurs on an otherwise high-grade example. Era coins have long been a favorite niche among collectors, and when combined with a coin already in high demand like the 1967 Jefferson nickel, prices can soar. The overall composition of the 1967 nickel remained consistent with earlier versions, made from a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel. Each coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. While it contains no silver, its value is derived from its numismatic importance, not its metal content. For those fortunate enough to discover a superior specimen, especially one with an era or full steps designation, the value can go well beyond its face value or even average collector price ranges. When examining the market value trends, one finds that over the past 2 decades, high-grade Jefferson nickels have surged in popularity. Once overlooked in favor of more glamorous coins like silver dollars or gold pieces, Jefferson nickels are now receiving the attention they deserve. This new wave of appreciation has driven auction houses and private dealers to seek out top-quality examples, pushing prices higher. For example, in recent years, an MS67 Full Steps 1967 Jefferson nickel from a special mint set has sold for as much as $4,900 at major coin auctions, and values are expected to increase as more collectors chase full series sets in the highest grades possible. Many collectors and investors are also drawn to this coin because it represents a challenger test of patience, knowledge, and dedication. The thrill of searching through SMS sets, old rolls, or inherited collections in hopes of discovering that one flawless 1967 nickel is what keeps hobbyists engaged and motivated. This chase creates a scarcity effect that naturally drives up demand, making well-preserved examples even more valuable. And with every passing year, the pool of available high-grade coins shrinks, as more are certified and placed in permanent collections. So, how do you know if you have one of these potentially valuable nickels? First, inspect the coin carefully. Under magnification, especially the Monticello building on the reverse, if the steps are complete and clearly visible without interruption, you may have a full steps variety. Next, check the coin's overall condition. No scratches, spots, or wear. If your coin appears uncirculated and has a rich luster, you might consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service or NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company. Getting the coin graded not only confirms its authenticity and grade but can also significantly boost its resale value. In conclusion, the 1967 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is far more than just a piece of pocket change from decades past. It is a symbol of a transformative period in U.S. coinage, born during a time of economic challenge and minting reform. Though its surface may look ordinary to the untrained eye, within its copper-nickel alloy lies a rich story and potentially thousands of dollars in value. With high-grade examples commanding up to $4,900, this nickel has become a hidden gem for collectors around the world. Whether found in an old special mint set, tucked away in a drawer, or discovered in an inherited collection, the 1967 Jefferson nickel serves as a shining reminder that true value often lies beneath the surface. If you happen to come across one, in exceptional condition, don't underestimate it. Just might be your gateway to a small. Next up, the 1989D Jefferson nickel, though commonly dismissed as just another 5-cent coin in everyday circulation, carries a hidden legacy that places it among the rarest and most valuable modern nickels ever struck, particularly in exceptional condition with full steps and rare die varieties. With a potential market value of up to $4,500, the 1989D Jefferson nickel proves that even modern coins minted in the millions can become prized possessions if the right conditions are met. It all comes down to condition, rarity, striking quality, die states, and a perfect combination of collector demand and low surviving population in top grades. But before we explore the journey of how this specific nickel rose to numismatic fame, it's important to understand the background of the Jefferson nickel series, its evolution, and why the 1989D issue stands out so significantly in the collector world today. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. After a 25-year run, designed by Felix Schlug, the nickel's obverse displays a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse features a frontal view of his estate. Monticello Schlug's design remained largely unchanged until 2004, making the Jefferson nickel one of the longest-running unchanged designs in U.S. history. The Denver Mint, which struck the 1989D nickel, has a long tradition of minting coins with higher durability for circulation, yet it's the precision of the strike that makes or breaks a coin's value in this particular year. Over 600 million nickels were minted in Denver in 1989. But what makes certain examples so valuable isn't just the mintage, it's the quality of the strike, preservation, and elusive full steps designation that separates a rare 5-cent coin from a $4,500 treasure. The 1989D nickel in average circulated condition is still worth face value or perhaps a few cents more to collectors looking to complete a year set. However, the game changes entirely when we talk about mint state MS grades, especially MS67 or higher. and the extremely rare designation of full steps FS. The full steps refers to the steps at the base of Monticello on the reverse of the coin. For a coin to qualify as full steps, it must display 5 or 6 uninterrupted steps, a result of a perfect strike and excellent die condition. Due to poor die maintenance, worn dies, and fast production speeds at the Denver Mint in 1989, most coins lack these fine details, making full steps nickels incredibly hard to find from this year. In fact, certified examples graded MS67 full steps are extremely scarce, with population reports from grading services like PCGS and NGC showing single-digit populations, which directly contributes to their jaw-dropping value of up to $4,500 in auctions and private collector sales. The 1980-90 Jefferson nickel also carries interest due to its varieties and die errors, which can further elevate its value. Known issues include die cracks, double dies, off-center strikes, and misaligned dies, all of which enhance the rarity and desirability when paired with a high-grade strike. For example, a 1980-90 nickel featuring a noticeable die crack or a doubling on Jefferson's eye, or the word Liberty, can fetch thousands. If the coin is also an MS67 condition with full steps, it is this powerful combination of error plus grade strike that makes coins from this year one of the most hotly pursued Jefferson nickels of the modern era. Another important factor in the 1989 DI's rise in market value is the increased interest in modern coin registry sets. Over the past decade, major grading services like PCG's Professional Coin Grading Service and NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company have promoted competitive registry sets where collectors aim to build the finest known sets of each coin series. Within this framework, coins like the 1989D nickel become absolute must-haves, not because they're old, but because finding a perfect example is so incredibly rare. As collectors compete to complete these high-grade sets, demand surges for even recent coins like the 1989D, especially if only a handful of coins exist at the top of the grading scale. It's simple economics: high demand and microscopic supply equals big value. From a technical perspective, the 1989D Jefferson nickel is composed of a 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy. With a diameter of 21.2 millimeters and a weight of 5 grams, while it contains no precious metal like silver or gold, its value lies entirely in its numismatic appeal. Coins are struck using high-pressure coining presses, and even a minor variance in pressure, die alignment, or planchette quality can affect the sharpness of the strike. Hence, the challenge in finding full steps, and add to that over 3 decades of potential wear, exposure, and mishandling, and it becomes evident why so few flawless 1989D nickels survive today. The story behind the value is also about more than just condition. It's about survival rate and population rarity. Imagine 600 million coins being minted, yet fewer than 10 examples known to exist in MS67 with full steps. That's a survival rate of less than 1 in 60 million. It's this extraordinary statistical unlikelihood that transforms the 1989 nickel into a modern-day numismatic legend. With new collectors entering the market daily and the expansion of digital platforms for coin auctions, demand for key-date modern coins like this has grown rapidly. Some believe the 1989D nickel is still underappreciated and may continue to rise in value as awareness spreads and new high-grade specimens become even harder to locate for collectors and enthusiasts. Discovering a gem-quality 1989D nickel might begin with examining old rolls of coins, untouched special mint sets, or inherited collections. But identifying a top-tier coin requires close inspection under magnification. The Monticello steps must be clearly defined without interruption, with no nicks or blemishes on the fields or high points. Coins must be free of bag marks, spots, and strike-throughs. If you believe you have a high-grade example, submitting the coin to a professional grading service is essential, not just for authentication but for maximizing its market value and ensuring it's properly cataloged in census and population reports. In conclusion, the 1989D Jefferson nickel is a shining example of how modern coins, often overlooked, can become rare and highly valuable under the right conditions. Its stunning market value of up to $4,500 is driven by a perfect storm of factors: low survival in top grades, full steps rarity, registry demand, and collector enthusiasm for completing high-end modern sets. Though hundreds of millions were struck, only a tiny fraction qualify as true gems, making it a thrilling discovery for those fortunate enough to find one. This 5-cent coin may carry a humble denomination, but in the world of elite numismatics, it stands tall as a rare modern marvel. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your coin journey,